In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the workflow timeline to stay organized and on top of what's going on in your business. With AllProWebTools, every user gets the workflow timeline. The workflow timeline is a live feed that displays on your dashboard showing you what's being done in your business. Any events that happen in the AllProWebTools console end up on the timeline. To view your workflow timeline, you can simply click on the dashboard button on your left menu bar, and it will bring up your timeline showing all of your events, with the most recent event on top, and all other events being displayed in chronological order going down. Each note has a timestamp showing how old that event is, and if you hover over that timestamp, it'll also show you the exact date and time that event happened. I'm going to scroll back to the top to show these filter buttons. As your business grows and you add more web tools, more events are happening in your AllProWebTools console, and these filter buttons can help you keep organized. The very first button simply brings up all timeline entries. The next button will bring up only the orders. Whenever I'm looking at an order on a timeline, the little order icon will either be green or red, depending on whether this order is paid or unpaid. I can also go directly to the CRM record or to the order itself by clicking on these links. Or I can just view the order details here. This next filter that looks like a shopping cart filters out any of the abandoned carts. These are carts users have started filling out on your website, but then never actually checked out. The next filter button, the speech bubble, will filter out any client notes. This way I can quickly look at what notes my users have written on what clients. And again, I can go directly to the CRM record by clicking on the link in the timeline event. The next filter button that looks like a clock shows all of the time card entries. This will show when my users clock in and out, for how long they were clocked in, and what their time card notes were. This next button filters out all the task notes. Whenever a task is updated or completed, that information will be put on the workflow timeline, along with any notes that were added. Here we have a task that was completed, and here we have a task that was updated and then sent to Matthew. And up here we have a task that's also tied to a client. And I can get to the task itself or the CRM record by again clicking on the links in the timeline event. This next button will filter out any email events. If you use the email marketing web tool, this will show whenever any emails were sent out. If you use the email marketing pro web tool, you will also be able to see events when people open up the email. This last button will filter out timeline events based on the user. Clicking on it will bring up a list of my users, and I can select a user and look at only Nelson's timeline entries. So now I can see every event that Nelson was involved in. Now, just like I can see the timeline for my user, I can also see a timeline for each of my clients. All I need to do is go to Contacts and View All, and I'm going to select a client to look at their CRM record. If I scroll down, I can see Allison's workflow timeline. This works exactly the same as the timeline on my dashboard, except with two key differences. The first being, this timeline will only show events linked to Allison, this client. Second, this timeline has the ability to add notes. So I can write a note directly onto this client's timeline, but it will still show up on the dashboard timeline as a note that I wrote on this client. Now I can scroll up and click on the dashboard, and you can see the note I added also appeared on the main workflow timeline.